Hi and welcome. We have a solstice coming up for the 20th of June and the 21st of June for most of the world, and the 20th of June for New Zealand. So here in New Zealand it's going to be winter solstice, of course, and for Australia. In the Northern Hemisphere we're moving into the summer solstice. So solstices were traditionally used as the mark of a change of season, and it was a time when we would all get together and celebrate the harvest that we had reaped from the last 3 months, and we would be setting the or planting the seeds for the next season to come. So the solstices and the equinoxes, they are when the sun moves into 0 degrees of the cardinal points, and because we have the sun here sitting here at 0 degrees Cancer on the 20th, it's the official initiation into winter. That's the way I see it. So it's important to look at what aspects are going on for the sun, and I'm going to cover the astrology as well as looking at the cards and for each of the zodiac signs. And I'm also going to be putting the minutes in the comments below if you want to go straight to your zodiac sign. Don't forget to include your rising sign and your moon sign. It will still be relevant. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be just covering where the planet placements are for each of the zodiac sign. So the sun, of course, like I said, is the most important to look at, and the main aspect going on here is the sun squaring the moon. Squaring the moon, and it's a wider square to Jupiter, but with this, it's where we can. The sun represents the male principle, and the moon represents the female principle, or the sun represents our physical energy, and the moon represents our emotional energy, and it's when these two energies come together. But being a square, it does always represent a few challenges. So it may be that we're not seeing eye to eye with others at that time. When I say others, I'm meaning partners of the opposite sex, people we're in relationships with, or even can be relative to our parents, being the male and the female principle. So with the sun moon, it talks about our inner worlds, and it talks about where we balance these energies within ourselves of the sun and the moon. So with having Jupiter conjuncting the moon is absolutely lovely for this equinox, and like I said, this covers the next 3 months. So this is a time when I feel that a lot of businesses are going to start to pop out from nowhere. A lot of new energies are going to be coming. Moon Jupiter is a lot about enterprise and business on a large scale. It's also about business to do with overseas. It's also about being being emotionally connected and helpful and assisting others, and businesses where we feel this is of a great service to humanity in some form with the moon Jupiter. Now with that, it can be new ideas or new plans squaring the sun that others may not necessarily agree with, or our physical energies are not agreeing with our emotional energies with regards to where we want to progress and grow. The other aspect going on is the sun aspecting Uranus, and this is on the 1st of May. Actually, we had the sun conjunct Uranus, and when that happens, it's setting a new cycle for change, and each time it hits the next hard aspect, it brings the sun in quite a strong way. So this is the first aspect. It's a semi-square, half of a square, and I think we'll get the full impact when we move into the square, but this is going to start to bring new energy for change as we start to move through this Sun-Uranus cycle. So with Sun-Uranus, you have it represents the will, the personal will, and it's where we apply ourselves in the sense of what we feel is coming from a higher sense, a higher purpose. And things can come in quite quickly with Sun-Uranus, sudden ideas, sudden downloads of information, or just sudden events happening that can be really quite exciting or sometimes upsetting. So just to put emphasis on that, we have the Uranus node conjunction, and Uranus is, like I said, it's sudden, it's unexpected, it's revolutionary in lots of ways, and the node is all about our connections and our associations. So connections of people coming together for revolutionary ideas can be one way to look at that, but generally it can be quite an exciting or upsetting time in some cases, for situations in family or in relationships, or just, it's connecting to excitement or upset in association with others. So, this can mean that things are going to come in quickly, and that we could be feeling quite excited relative to our connections. New connections can come in quickly as well during this time. Now, the other interesting thing we have going on, it's very important to look at what sits at the halfway point between the sun and the moon. And there is a midpoint there, midpoint meaning it's sitting in the middle point of the sun-moon here, and that happens to be Uranus again. So, anything sitting at that midpoint of the sun-moon, especially with the sun-moon being square, is going to be really highlighted. So, we really are in for a Uranus ride for the next 3 months of change, of shifting up a notch, because I see Uranus as a very positive energy, though it can bring things in quite quickly and leave us feeling a bit unsettled. There's always a higher purpose for Uranus, to really shift things up, to be more forward moving, to be more for our future. And this is where innovative ideas and sudden changes that can just release any blockages or anything that has been holding us back. So it's quite an exciting time with that Uranus theme. Of course, for me, I would say expect the unexpected. If we think something's not happening and we think it can't happen, I just wouldn't sit with that. Maybe if we were in a Saturn time and Saturn was sitting in the middle with Uranus there, anything can actually happen, and it can happen very, very quickly. So, like I said, it's going to be quite an interesting time. The other aspect or conjunction, because we've got many conjunctions going on here. You can see it's all weighted on this side, the planets, is Mars conjuncting Chiron. So this was conjuncted a few days ago, and it's building up to right now, and of course it's going to be, by the time we get to this equinox, sitting there at 5 degrees, so it's going to start to move away after that time, around about the 21st, 22nd of June. We won't feel its effects so much, but up to that point, it can make us feel tired, it can make us feel a bit drained, but if we're being asked or encouraged to heal the physical body with the Mars Chiron there. If we're not feeling the energies for physical activity, don't be surprised with this, and it could be a bit frustrating being in Aries. We want to get on with things, but with this Mars Chiron, like I said, it's giving us an opportunity to work on personal healing, to work on where we want to put our energies, and even just take a closer look at where we do put our energies. If there's any areas that we are needing to heal, they could possibly be coming up to be addressed during this time, and that could be on a physical and emotional level. Generally always is. So it's an interesting time, like I said, with astrology. There's not too much to talk about with this chart, but like I said, Uranus is really the highlight for this. The Uranus node, which has been sort of slowly coming together, is building up. It's now only like 4 degrees apart, and when we get to that full-on conjunction over the next 2 months, it's really going to bring in a lot of changes. So let's start with Aries. So Aries, you have the sun in your first house for this equinox, and like I said, these spreads are done for 3 months, for covering the next 3 months. So we're going from now till the spring equinox, which is around the 21st, 22nd of September. And the focus for this, for Aries, is going to be on the home situation. The concerns are going to be, or where they're wanting to project their energy, is going to be all around the home, creating more security for themselves, and also nurturing, looking after the home and family situations. So the Moon, Jupiter, and Mars Chiron's all sitting there as well. So of course this has been, that's sitting in the first house for Aries. And that's really, really positive for Aries when it comes to if you're wanting to create your own business, or even if you're wanting to expand or move into a more nurturing type career, or career that allows you to use your intuition stronger. This is also a time, it's been hard for Aries. You've had Chiron sitting there in Aries for a while now, and so this has been quite a healing time for Aries. But with Mars going through there, I think this is motivating you to do the things you need to do to get on with things and to activate healing if needed. The Uranus node, the area of excitement the area of security and your home, your assets. You've got Uranus node going on there, so that could, it could feel like your security feels really unsettled with Uranus sitting there in Taurus in your second house for quite a while. So, it could have taken a while to feel settled or a while to feel secure. But with the node coming up here, I feel that there could be some solutions connecting up to family or to people that you're close to create a lot more security for yourself. And you could even be looking at like a bigger picture, especially with the sun sitting in the placement of the home. You could be looking at suddenly buying property where you maybe thought you wouldn't be, or making some change of property. Mercury sitting in the third house for Aries, and that's perfect for communication, for expressing yourself. That is the place where we express ourselves, is the third house. And it also means, you might feel like connecting up and communicating with family, with siblings especially, is the third house. But also see it as friendships that you're close to, the people you call your soul family, your soul sisters and brothers, as well as your physical. So any writers for Aries, or anyone else that's wanting to really express themselves, in a more unique way or in a more projected way, this is an excellent time to be doing that. So let's have a look and see. Pluto, that's been in your 10th house, and because the sun is moving up to oppose that over the next month, I think during like 3 to 4 weeks, you might find these sudden sort of fated changes coming in again around property, or around new directions and new goals, because it feels like you haven't felt like that's been in your control, what direction, where you want your future to go. Well, when the sun hits that, I feel like you'll be able to take more personal control with that. So Aries. There's a lot of new ideas coming in for Aries, and I think with Mercury there in the third sector, that's great for ideas. It's great for writing down your ideas and really starting to format them. You have a lot within you that you're able to express, and I feel, Aries like to be unique in the sense that they come up with their own ideas, and this is the perfect time for that. So it looks like Aries are looking for ways of creating more freedom for themselves, and also some personal travel, the possibility of travel, not necessarily a big trip, but just to get away and have a break seems to be needed as well. So, you can make that plan for August, September. As we get near the end of this reading, it looks like there could be a nice holiday going on here. There also could be situations that you're working on where you're needing to look into the details. You could be signing documents, you could be buying property. These things that you would be looking at legal documents are all relative to creating more freedom for yourself. So any Aries that have had any issues going on around family, looks like there has been some family struggles going on here. This is a time to resolve, and it's also a time where things are going to come into balance. Any legal issues, of course, are going to be very favourable during this time as well. And again, giving you a break and allowing you to move on into a new cycle. So it looks like Aries is coming into a new cycle, and possibly when we do move into the next, into the equinox, the next time the sun goes into the next cardinal point, Libra, because this will be where this new cycle is coming from, and it's talking a lot about bringing balance back into your life, very Libran energy, the opposite point of Aries. So the work change, home change, or even your solutions, your ideas, that find solutions for things that haven't been working out, this is all going to come through your ingenious mind here, Aries. And it looks like, the changes are, really definite for you, in the sense that you will create more freedom for yourself for the future. Work situations for some Aries here may have been sixth house, not a planet, but it's an asteroid. But work situations, this feels like there's been some difficulties with communication with others, or it's saying that you're needing to keep working on communicating with others. And like I said, in work situations, it just feels like anything that's been difficult can be sorted out. But I feel that this is more about your communicational skills and how you can work at things within your own understanding. And just, this is a time to, I feel, be expressing what you are really feeling, and at a deeper level, which is your sun, square moon combinations going off here, and expressing that, so that you are, as you're coming through this completion of the Chiron in Aries and finishing the healing there for Aries. So I think this is, like I said, going to be pushed for communicating your ideas, communicating how you also your emotional state, and where you may have felt things have just been very, very hard for you, but it feels like you're meant to be communicating this with those you're close to, so they have a deeper understanding of what's been going on for you. So like I said, for Aries, this is a very good time. It's a good time to be increasing your money. It's a good time to be getting into work and communicating with others in your work situation, more what you're wanting, or creating new work situations for yourself through communicating with others. Also a great time to be using your creativity, and I feel like you've been Aries, they have a very strong creative pull, and whether that's through their communication skills again, or whether that's through art, or through what they can do through what they can impress onto others. But it feels like that's been uninspired, and something's coming in here to give you a lot more inspiration for that. So Taurus. So for Taurus, of course, you have the Sun sitting here in your third house. So for Taurus, this is a great time to be, working on any areas that you're needing to articulate or to communicate with others. And being in the third house, this is a time to be either joining with others, siblings, and connecting with family and those you have a really strong bond with. Mercury is sitting in your second house, so it's going to be also a great time to be nutting out your finances and working on how you're going to be creating more security for yourself in the future. And with the Uranus node and the Venus all sitting in the first house for Taurus, this is a great time for your creative expression. Taurians are naturally creative, and they connect into nature, they connect into to crafts very, very easily, and they'd like to keep busy, especially relative to using their hands. So for Taurus, there could be a very inspiring time to either pick up your guitar or pick up your paints, or even start sewing or cooking or baking, whatever that may be for Taurus. With Uranus node there, when I was talking about the excitement and the upsets around connections and associations, this is sitting in the first house, so this is going to be directly in your environment situations for Taurus. So it'd be interesting to see what comes out here in the spread. Then Moon Jupiter and the Chiron Mars, that's sitting in the 12th house. So as far as the healing goes, that's a deep inner level, but also the desires to expand and grow. It's all going to be coming from quite a deep and psychic place. So that is another reason why I would recommend using your mediums, as in using whether it's tarot cards, or whether it's through art, or just through your personal creativity, through, like I said, through anything that you're making with your hands. This is a perfect time to do that, because it's a very strong time to be channeling very, very good energy with that Moon Jupiter Mars Chiron going on there. Does mean that you're probably having really deep sleeps and doing a lot of deep healing work during your sleep time as well. So Taurus, let's see what's happening for Taurus. Yes, with that Uranus node in the first house, like I said, I felt that the excitement or drama sometimes is going to be quite forefront in your environment there. And this is, you've got the tower covering you, so this is sort of confirming that, but it's saying that the changes are actually going to be really positive for Taurus, extremely positive actually. Such an awesome time for Taurus, and this is, like I said, over the next 3 months, Taurians are going to be really exploring their creative abilities, but it's a time when Taurus gets to utilise what they've already been developing for over a period of time, or utilise if they're talking about a young Taurian here, a teenager or someone in their 20s, your skills and your talent is already there. It's already within you. It's just waiting to be initiated, and there is an initiation point here. And the outcome here, I always go to the bigger picture and then I'll get back. But for those familiar with cards, you'll see what beautiful cards we have going on here. They're fantastic cards. And that, this is your, this page of cups is all about connecting up to your soul and connecting up to your true soul purpose. It's about talents that have been sitting waiting to be used, and it's about an opportunity, a new opportunity to really utilize these talents. Now with having the Magician, this is why I wanted to show you this, because you don't often see this, but you've got the Magician, which is the first card, if you're not including the Fool, because the Fool's the incognito period between cycles. And then you've got the World, which is the last card, so end of cycle, beginning of new cycle, and this is your gifts. So just so you know, I don't make this stuff up. That's fantastic, because like I said, this is a time where you can really shine with your gifts, but these aren't just gifts that you maybe even knowing that you have. This is about latent talents. This is about developing new skills. And it's saying that you're coming to the end of a long cycle for Taurus, and what's going to be activated in you is the development of new skills, maybe even some things you hadn't even considered trying. So, but it will be drawn in from all your knowledge and all your experience from the past, bringing you into this new cycle where you get to fulfill even more. So again, great exciting cards here for Taurus in the position of the mind, where it looks like new positions of work, or joining with others for work, or joining for others for financial security is going to be really important. So where I was talking about the Uranus node in the first house, we have the soulmate card here sitting in the recent past. Now this means that this connection, the soul connection to you, could be a family member, could be a good friend, could be a partner, is going to be I feel, the person that you're going to bring in to your new financial situation that's going to bring a lot more money in. So you're either going into investment or business together with people that, like I said, are very strong soul connections to you. Some Taurians are going to really sort of spread out a bit more over the next 3 months, in the sense of they may do a bit more travel. They do like to move around and do travel and explore new areas, and I feel like that it helps them to find new ideas, in fact. And by taking a trip here, especially over water, I feel like you're going to be really inspired. It's going to be a good place to go if you are working on your creativity and working on these gifts, again, whether it's writing or music or art, getting out of your normal environment and just trying somewhere new. Because the thing with Taurus is they can connect into the earth and they can really feel the energy of the place that they're in. So they can be a direct conduit to channel when they're in those environments. And it does say here for Taurians watching this that you will be having a nice breakaway and holiday, but it's sort of saying that there's sort of things to do there, things to keep you stimulated and busy, and I feel this is, again, developing these skills. So very good news for Taurus coming up, where I feel like things have felt like a bit of a struggle here, and it's been a bit of a challenge where they may feel like they don't know really, or they're sitting on the fence with regards to business or to stepping up a notch. And like I said, with a bit of a leg up here and help from others, you're going to see this whole new direction. And if Taurians are looking for new things to learn, new stimulation, or skills that they haven't even touched on yet, this is absolutely, like I said, an activation time. Taurians can do well by believing in themselves. They aren't quite as naturally confident as, say, an Aries, and just taking a hand and trying something. They like to do it slowly. They like to be thorough with it. They like to make sure they get it all right. So, just through giving yourself a bit of, time to learn, and whether you're teaching yourself or whether you're doing your own, you're doing some form of learning, in another form of studies or just of personal interests, this is going to give you, I feel, a bit more confidence to step into these skills and gifts. Spirit's also saying for Taurians that, you're coming into a fantastic cycle for relationships. There could be changes going on around connections quite quickly for Taurus, and people that come into your life during this time are going to be very important for the future. Now, it's not saying for this next 3 months. This is talking about after that, in that position, but it's saying that it's setting you up for sharing with your perfect counterpart. Looks fantastic for Taurus. And even though you had the Tower and not quite sure what direction to move in, it didn't look actually like it was that stressful at all. And like I said, with this Uranus node, it can traditionally mean, a lot of upset and stress or drama. But, with the Moon, Jupiter and the Sun, connecting in there, I feel that that's actually, it's really making it more productive. It means that these changes are going to just shift us into a new paradigm. And like I said, I feel this is like a bit of an energy shift with Uranus, where we just come to sudden realizations of, what's inside us and who we really are at another level. We could be doing that all our lifetime, but it just feels like there's a shift coming up for that to shift us up a notch. So Gemini. So Gemini, you have Mercury here in your first house, and sorry, I'll start again. By looking at you do. You have Mercury sitting here in your first house, and so Geminis are very good communicators naturally, and this is again how you project yourself out into the world. So this is a time when your ideas and your mind is going to be really utilised for new ideas, but they really will get heard or listened to. It's a time when you can really step out and areas where you're, like I said, wanting to express yourself in a much stronger way. Your Sun is sitting in the 12th, in the second sector, the sector of security and finances, and so with that, that's going to be the focus for Gemini, is on security, on how we can change the home or rearrange the home or even maybe move home. So we'll have a look at that. And for your 11th house, your house of friendships and the house of, where you want to do something for humanity, this could be a month where Gemini come up with some really brilliant ideas, but they would be more on the scale of communities or more in conjunction with friendships and connecting up in groups. Mars is also there, so it's going to be quite a time when you wanted to get out and in more of a social way as well into the community. The Uranus node Venus for you is sitting in the 12th, so that means that you're not going to be physically experiencing this sort of restlessness or excitement or dramas. It's going to be more on a deep-seated level and coming through your dream state, but I feel that's sort of setting you up for future things. So let's have a look at this. You've had Neptune in your 10th house now. That's been relevant for quite a while now, but with that, it just feels like, you might be not sure what direction you're going in. But for Gemini, I don't think that's such a big issue. I think as long as they can deal with the details and at hand, they can just take each step as it comes. So let's have a look at what's happening for Gemini. Like I said, I sort of get the sense of looking at this that you're going to have some really good ideas for more stability for the future, and also how you can be contributing more to humanity as well. So we've got the Gemini card, the Lovers. It's quite interesting. And the home and the soul connection card. So it's a reflective time for Gemini. Now with this Uranus energy sitting in the 12th, that's very much about doing the inner search, looking a bit more deeply into what's inside us. Like I said, it's be a great time for expressing yourself, for writing, for doing any of those communicational skills that Gemini is so good at. So, like I said, this has been a bit of an inner time, but Gemini is trying to balance out the inner and the outer worlds here. And with the sun here, moved into the second house for Gemini, security and stability, like I said, is going to be the focus. We have very good news coming up relative to that. And again, coming through family situations. So these are the cards here I use for that. This is the Ace of Swords. It's the great news. It's a breakthrough. I use the Ace of Swords as literally a Uranus card here. And, the sun, it's like the node card here. And we've got the Pentacles here, which is, again, your second house. So this is all about your security for the future. But there's good news, again, like I said, around family with the sun, about your security. So that's a really good break. It's going to be, again, more freeing for Gemini. They love to be free. They have to be free to be able to express themselves. And I feel it's going to help to set them up. So the other thing that seems to be happening here for Gemini, because it's sort of saying some Geminis here, it's talking about where you're either on your own or not connecting to your partner as much as you would like to be. And sort of saying, again, this is a bit of a balancing act. So again, I feel the Sun square Moon is affecting Gemini at that level, where they are really needing to address and communicate. And this is a perfect time with Mercury in your first house to communicate, with your partners what your wants and needs are, because some things you may feel have not been really working out, and Gemini has been feeling a little bit tired of difficult situations. So Gemini is a very analytical sign. Not so much detailing as far as Virgo, but it represents the mind, and it represents that they're wanting to be constantly feeling good in the mind, which isn't really possible. So Gemini, they need to watch their thoughts, and need to sometimes they can bring themselves down. They need to stay up and keep and stay positive. The good thing about Gemini is it's so changeable. So if you're having a bad moment, I'm sure you can snap yourself out pretty quick, because Gemini to me is like just change the channel, the radio station, a new channel. With Mercury, there's a lot of channels going on there, not just the one. But I really feel that Geminis have been feeling a struggle, and they've been feeling a struggle, and they've been feeling like they're doing it all on their own. And this is saying that, no, Gemini, you can share with others. This is a time when you can actually join with others. For those that haven't been in a relationship and or haven't been able to even make ends meet, this is a time to reach out to others, or if others are reaching out, to accept the help of others. Because I feel, again, through joining with the right people, you can really start to make things happen. So there seems to be very good news for Gemini about, where they're wanting to go and where they were thinking that they couldn't go. So again, having some security, but really they're just wanting a lot of emotional peace, and for things to not be so hard. Gemini sign isn't necessarily always chasing the dollar. They like to be creative. They like to be, of course, they love to work, but they like to be stimulated as their main priority. Sort of saying that Geminis are being overstimulated. They are needing some time out, and I feel like there could be some extra help or money coming in, which means that you can get away, have a break, or just spend some time by the water, which seems like that's sort of needed for Gemini over this period of time. Also seems to be some good news coming in for Gemini with regards to, like I said, security and money, but also about maybe even relocating to a new area, which could be a better financial option for them, because the main focus within this seems to be where they want to put their energy, what's going to work out for them financially, and what isn't. And I feel for Gemini that, you're processing a lot here. You're processing a lot within your inner worlds, and you can't look at what it's been lost. This is about looking at what you have to gain in this new situation. So like I said, this is really good because it's showing a lot of inner growth is coming in for Gemini, and much more secure circumstances, relationships where you're on your own, the openings for that. And if it's not relationships, you could be going into a sharing situation, again, relative to assets and security or investment. So Cancer. So Cancer, of course, has the Sun situated in their first house, since we're sitting at 0 degrees Cancer, and this whole solstice is about that. So in the first house here, so this is your birthday month. This is what happens at this time every year for Cancer, to have this Sun in this position. And of course the Sun is in each sector for all of the Zodiac this time of year. And, so this is whenever the Sun is in your first house, which is around your time of your birthday, this is the time when you get to shine. This is when you get to project out into the world at your best. This is when you get to feel more control, but it's also the time when you feel we're like more socializing, more interacting with the outer world. So not an internal time, and much more external time for Cancer during that time. So look at, I have to refer to my chart. So the Moon conjunct Jupiter and the Mars Chiron sitting in your 10th house, Cancer. So this is going to be great for those Cancers that are got the entrepreneurial enterprise type of mind, because you have that naturally. It's a time when you can really get on with business, or when you can expand with business. Like I said, the Moon Jupiter connects to overseas expansion and growth. For business. It's also a time when you might be reaching out to others through your kind-hearted, warm nature, and also, or connecting with family and helping family as well. But it's a time when you can really expand and grow your own situation. And the Uranus node, Venus is sitting in your placement around friendships and around the community. So where the potential excitement or drama is, that's all in your 11th house, which is, again, like I said, friendships, families. So again, an excellent time for Cancer to be socializing with that Uranus node Venus here, being your 11th house. It means that you can get together with others and really enjoy yourself. But also, if you're a humanitarian type, you could be looking at projects for that. They would be very, very successful. Any ideas you have around that could be extremely helpful and healing for humanity. Mercury sitting in the 12th, so during this time you might want to wait till Mercury's moved out of there into your 11th, because you may feel like you're not sure about your ideas. Normally Cancers are quite confident, and like I said, they've got entrepreneurial type minds, but with Mercury there, and there could be a bit doubting, or maybe you're reaching to more of a connected ideas or connected plans coming from a more of a universal scale, as an intuitive, rather than just through the lower mind. So it's an opportunity for Cancer to use their higher minds with Mercury sitting there. But I think that with Cancer, they may be feeling like they doubt, or they might be a bit doubtful of trusting what's coming, the messages that are coming through, just because of that placement. So Cancer. So we keep getting the Lovers cards in each spread, and I really feel this is a time where we may be, where we have to agree. We have to be agreeable, adaptable, and to situations going on, and that way we can expand. So this is, on a general scale, it's a time for people to be sharing with others, and not about what you can do on your own, again, but what you can do with others. Okay, Cancer. So yeah, this is again confirming these Cancerians, with big hearts here, wanting to do something for humanity, for for humanity. The humanitarian card has come up here in the outcome, and it's saying that you are, it's not just that, it's more also going to be, well, it's not, it could be that, or it could be that you're wanting to do things to help family, children, brothers, sisters, or your children, in some form of project or to get ahead. So, I feel this is more of it's a time where Cancers will be using their empathy and their understanding, but it seems to be a time where Cancer is giving a leg up to others and helping others where it's needed, but also receiving the help from others if they need it. So, these energies work both ways. Giving and receiving is actually the same energy, so it can work either way depending on where you're sitting with that. But there does seem to be, like I said, Cancers are good at making money and they're quite good entrepreneurs. And there does seem to be some investments here that you may be concerned about, but I feel like the ultimate situation is going to work out for you. So if you've got investments sort of going on and you're waiting on that, and there could be a bit of bad news, just be patient with it, because I feel like you're going to come out on top anyway. So things can change in a minute and they can change in the next minute as well. So don't, with whatever happens, don't feel like something is not going to work out, because it's actually saying it is if you just wait and if you stick with what you're doing. So Cancers are very focused on work. They can come into the workaholics sometimes, especially the males for some reason. The women tend to be quite happy raising children and being at home. And of course the men love to be at home, they love their own environments, but they really do want to create security for the home as well. And it does look like, there's going to be some, a lot of work here for Cancer, but it's passionate work. It's work where you get excited. Like I said, they can be workaholics, but they must enjoy what they're doing to be able to put so much time and effort into that. But I really feel if you're not feeling that passion in work, this is showing that over this period of time there is going to be a lot more focus in the workplace, where you have a lot more work to do, but you are going to be able to get through it quite easily, because this is actually your favourite place to be. And if it's not, well, then you might need to make some changes, especially for Cancer. So there are some decisions here for Cancer, and it seems to be like, do I make a change? And the change seems to be about quite a big change. It's like whether it could be a change of property or relocation. I feel like it's like thinking about moving to a whole new area for Cancer, which is quite interesting. Let me just see if Cancer's got anything going on in the 9th house. You've got Neptune on the 9th house, so spending time by the water is absolutely where you want to be, but I feel like that's where it could be the indecision as well. It's like, Neptune can reach you to I see it as a higher level of love when expressed positively, and Neptune could be, you could find this true love in a place, in an environment, and say, this is where I want to be, and then come home and then go, I'm not really sure. Maybe you need to go back there and check it out a couple of times before you're 100% sure. It does look like Cancer are thinking about being on the move, but then they're holding themselves back from moving at the same time. So I feel like with Cancer, don't worry, you'll work that one out. Maybe it's just that you're ready to make this, or you're thinking about it, but you're not quite ready to make this move, and you've got some responsibilities and things to sort out before you can move into a new space. This is the Cancer card, by the way. The Chariot, she's got the moons going on there, but it is also about moving. It's also about, being on the move. And, but it's sitting here with the Saturn card saying, I'm not sure about this moving. So with the outcome here for Cancer, it looks like, there's a lot here about communicating with others, how we can get ahead and how we can move forward. But I feel like when I say with others, I feel like it's the Cancers are looking towards their children, or they're looking towards their siblings, or even their good friends and partners to see if they're on the same page or the same level, the same ideas that they've got. So Cancers have some idea here of what they're wanting to change, and they just need to discuss it with their families or with the people that they're close to make sure that's going to be right for everybody. So it's not like a fast movement thing here for Cancer. It seems to be quite steadily productive, quite steadily growing in the right direction. But again, there's just a sense of wanting to make some changes, but Cancers won't move too quick on it. They'll make sure that everyone is that could be affected by these changes are going to be quite happy for this. And like I said at the beginning, those Cancers that are wanting to really do something for humanity, it feels like you have these special connections or these special people that you work extremely well with that are on the same page as you, and that you can share your ideas and can see working together, sharing ideas for certain projects. It's going to be fantastic. So Cancer does also sometimes they take too much on board. Emotionally, they can feel responsible for things that they aren't, or they can not address where they, where they may need to look at certain things that they are feeling this, because when I say they can feel that, but they may not have, they may be shutting it aside, so they're not actually addressing it. I feel like Cancers can't run away from the things that they're closing out during this time. I feel like their situations are there to be addressed so that they can move forward feeling a lot better about their situations and themselves in the future. So a great time to be getting together with others, connecting, like I said, with soul family and sharing. Leo. So Leo, the sun is sitting in your 12th house, so not a time for Leo to be projecting themselves out into the environment. But of course, whenever you're the sign before, whenever you're the sign after the sign that we're in, of course, the sun is going to be in your 12th sector, is actually the correct term, sector. And so, that's a time when we sort of can feel a bit like we're just hiding away, or it could be a bit of a dark time, if you like. When I say dark, not dark as in heavy, but just, we don't necessarily feel like projecting ourselves out, so we don't necessarily feel, we're just absorbing everything inwards rather than projecting ourselves out. We may not be making big plans at that time. We're not wanting to be too social at that time quite often, even though Leo is a very, very social time anyway. But as you move into the sign of Leo, then the sun will come into that first sector, and then again you can really show off and express yourself. I'm not saying Leos are a show off at all, but they do like to be able to express who they are, and they are quite unique in their own right. So for Leo, it seems like quite an easy time, in the sense that nothing too major going on here. You've got the Moon, Jupiter, Mars and Chiron sitting here in the in the 9th house. So more like a time to relax with that sun in the 12th. It's like I said, it's not time to be out there working really, really hard. It's more like a time to be holidaying or connecting in. And also with this Moon, Jupiter, Mars, Chiron in the 9th, perfect time if you're looking at career changes, because you're wanting to do your own thing or your own business, but also a time when you may even be looking at your own belief systems and philosophies, or understanding of the universe, and you may even find that you become a bit more interested in more spiritual subjects during this time. Uranus node and Venus is in your 10th, your career, so it's not sitting in the place of work so much, but it is your bigger picture goals, and this can mean that this could come into your bigger picture or your bigger plans. You may not have plans for the bigger picture at this point in time, but that could come in quite suddenly with the Uranus node there and the Venus, because I think you will be looking at that a lot stronger with it sitting there in your 10th house. With Mercury sitting in your 11th house, you are going to be again really connecting in, and of course that will make you a lot more social, even though the contradiction is the sun in the 12th. At least you'll be able to communicate. You might find that you're having deeper and more meaningful discussions with others during this time. So your thoughts and mind could be on with the 11th house, it could be on again, what you can do for others, what you can do for communities, what what you're wanting to do socially with others, but also as a collective, because the opposite point there of Leo is Aquarius, and that's all about the collective. It's all about what we can do that can help humanity or help society to grow. So Leo. Yeah, so that's what I sort of found. I don't know if I could express it properly with Leo. It's almost like you're more in a pondering space of or speculative space for the future rather than the action phase. This is more thinking about the things you'd like rather than moving forward really fast. But now, as I've said that, you've got an Ace of Swords covering you, so this could be about fast action coming in. And you also have an Ace of Pentacles here, so yes, you do actually have some thoughts about changes of career. But again, like I said, this can come in through sudden connections or through your associations bringing sudden news or information to you. So this is looking pretty good for Leo here. I think that what you thought you were doing, what you may have thought you wanted to do is going to still be going through changes. Now, like I said, you've had Pluto sitting there, I think in the, I'm going to say Pluto on the 10th. No, it's sitting in the, sorry. Pluto is sitting in the 6th, that's what it was, the place of career. And that can feel like, this is quite like you don't have control over your work situation, and you're going around in circles and you keep coming up against the same problems or the same sort of unsettled energy going on around the workspace. So this is going to give the Leos that don't feel like they have control in these situations, because certain patterns of behaviour or certain things have been spontaneously happening over a period of time for Leo here. That has been like a repeated pattern. Feels like there's a breaking away from that, breaking out of that situation. So it's saying this situation is going to come up again, but I feel like this will be the last situation, because you're moving into a fantastic time for your career. Now, it doesn't mean that you can change your career, even though there will be changes if you're not happy or if you're not really expressing who you truly are. Leos are extremely creative in the sense that where they put their energy, they can manifest it really fast, and that is a creative, that's the most creative power we have, is our ability to manifest alongside with our procreative powers. And, Leos naturally, because that energy comes from the sun, they naturally can project that out quite easily. So when they're feeling held back or hindered, that can actually really affect them and really affect their ability to create the world they want. So Leos, I just feel like this is just a good kickstart, getting you back to recreating your situation, creating it how you want it to be, making it more peaceful, making it more flowing, more successful. Leos are very organised. They know what they have to do. They know how they want it to look. They're great organisers, especially for events and things like that. So, it's like the vision is coming in there, Leo. So, if you're feeling frustrated with your situation of going around in circles, especially if it's involving your work situation, this is going to start to shift. And it's going to start to shift in the very near future, because there's some sudden good news or information coming to you that is going to mean that you can move forward and move in the right direction. So like I said, new positions for those that aren't in those situations where they're getting to utilise their true skills. And that's, they're really going to not waste their energy in the wrong place any longer. I do absolutely see a change coming up here. And I think that's, again, probably got a good thing with that sun in the 12th, because the 12th is about what do I need to, it's about when we get to go a bit deeper and we get to identify what's really either eating us up or affecting our energy. So even though it's a subtle time with that 12th, it actually allows us to address the unseen. So very productive 3 months here for Leo. Time when, if you're patient and you apply your organisational ability to, if you apply that with method and perseverance and patience, you can really start to move forward. Leo is, they are coming, like I said, they're emotionally, they're very good at expressing themselves, and emotionally as well, and creatively too. So I feel like this is going to be a time when you can truly express yourself at a more emotional level coming up in the future. And I think that, I'm talking about relationship, because Leos are very much about relationship and love, and they can be quite open-hearted and warm when it comes to their partners. They're quite romantic. They're very much about the senses and the feelings when it comes to that. They can be quite nostalgic about the past and the connections and the things you've done in the past. But what it's saying here is that Leo is going to be able to move forward within their relationship, where they can be so emotionally connected, and their partners are going to be agreeable, and Leos will be agreeable as well, of what direction you're going in. So it's really good, because Leos will consider their partners, of course, within this. They're independent thinking, but because they've got that romantic side, they'll always, and that thoughtful side, they'll always include their partners or consider their partners in those situations. So really good relationships coming in, if not already, for Leo. If there's been difficulties in relationship, this is going to be a time when you're going to be able to come to some resolve and come to some agreement. But again, I feel like with Leo, there could be a moving on, moving home, moving forward, something that you're going to agree on, which is going to be about either business or property. There also seems to be, for those Leos looking to purchase property, there seems to be good news about buying property. Now, it feels like there's been a bit of a struggle of not feeling like you've got quite enough to purchase, or the banks may not have been on board with it, but it does look like you'll be able to do that in the near future, and that's confirmed here by these cards here. So here we have this is the bank loan, the property, and here feeling like we can't afford to do it. This is sort of saying that you will be able to afford to purchase what you're wanting, whatever security that may be. And in this case, this card to me is always the property, the home. So really good to see that Leo is getting the opportunity to fully express themselves, their true selves. They can't really do anything else. That would be not natural to them to not be able to truly express themselves. But if you've been feeling suppressed or hindered by your circumstances, like I said, work or at home, this is all about you taking your control back and utilising your energy in a very, very positive way. Virgo. So Virgo, the sun is sitting in the 11th house for Virgo, so the focus there is the 11th sector, friends, and the larger community. So, this is a good time for Virgo for socializing. And Mercury is sitting in your 10th sector, so this is a great time to be focused on the bigger picture, your long-term goals, and where you want to be. So Virgos won't be thinking on the short term with Mercury in that placement. They'll be thinking on the long term, and if they're not happy in their situations, they could be making changes, but that's where your focus is going to be, on the bigger picture. So good connections with overseas, and you might be feeling a bit more of a spiritual connection here with Uranus node and Venus there in the 9th. Looking sort of at your belief system, or looking at what you're really interested in. Could be new interests and hobbies, but also connections that you have, quite special connections overseas. There could be upsets or excitement around people, the ones that you're not really living that close to. So the Moon, Jupiter, Mars and Chiron here for Virgo sitting in the 8th house, and again that's confirming what do we need to let go of, where are we going to be more productive. So what is unproductive, what has become unproductive, has to go, and where can I find the new productivity? It's going to allow the new productivity to come in through releasing the old. So that's been a bit of a tough time for Virgo, because you've had Chiron sitting in the 8th, so there's been quite a deep healing going on here at a deep level. You may not have even realise you've been going through a major healing process, but you've probably been having, your moments where you're feeling really up and down. With this Moon Jupiter here, like I said, it's, I feel like this is about you taking more control of your future direction, but also your financial situation. And see, the 8th house also can represent the bank, because this is your assets here in Taurus, and Scorpio is other people's money, which is sort of like the banking system, as they take the taxes or anything like that. So, with that, it feels like, your money, all your money's coming in. You might be on good money, but it's all being drained out. Well, that's going to start to change, I feel, through the opportunities coming in for the next 3 months. So let's have a look and see for Virgo what to expect. Sorry, I can't do this any quicker than what I do. But, okay, so Virgo, you've got like an opportunity sitting right over you, but then there's almost a limitation with that, or holding yourself back. So don't hold yourselves back. You really need to see your worth. It's a very important time to recognise that. Anyway, I don't feel like you're going to be allowed to hold yourself back. The universe is going to let you. Looking at these major arcana cards all the way up the side here, and even here with the moon here. So you're still not in the clear yet with feeling clarity, with feeling certainty about your situation. You might emotionally be feeling a little bit up and down, feeling like, well, you just can't quite see it. And again, that Pluto influence isn't helping. It doesn't feel like you feel like you have control over your circumstances. But this is changing, because this is saying that you are your own. Your Virgos are so organised and so detailed and so good at what they do within those fields of detail and organisation, that it's saying that you're meant to be your own boss or in charge of your own situation. And I think most Virgos set themselves up, even though they do often like to bring in an income, they like that security of income, and they also they're quite happy to work for others. They really do need to be in charge of what they're looking after in the work situation. So I wouldn't say they like to be the big manager running, looking after everybody, but I think they like to be in charge of their work and how their work is organised. And it's saying for Virgo that this is your skills, and they're going to get utilised to the maximum. But this is also a time when, if you're wanting to step out more on your own, or you want to do more for yourself, this is the time to do it. So whether it's looking at a contract situation or a new position where you have more freedom to actually do it your way, that's what you're really going to be coming into. Because Virgos, I wouldn't say you've got the leadership card here, but like I said, it's not that you're wanting to be the leader of a big team, but I feel it's important that you use your managerial skills in your detailed way, and to see how things should look and how things should be. So for Virgos, like I said, there's this is a time where there is a bit of a deeper inner search going on here for what is going to be, where you really want to place yourself. The males here seem to be going through a little bit of time of feeling like there's a bit of a financial struggle, like feeling you've got a certain amount of money here, but it's not quite enough, or they're feeling like, or they're concerned over their certain investments or assets. So I think with Virgo men could be a bit worried about the financial side of things, where the females here could be a bit more affected by the emotional side of things during this time. And so with this, we've got the moon card, and it's really about the patterns that we find ourselves in. So again, this is a time to step out of the cyclic situations, or the bad patterns that you've been in, and stepping up into a new situation. So Spirit is actually intervening here for Virgo, helping them to bring their life into better balance. And I feel mainly through their career. If it's not going to be through your career where things are out of balance, as in, when I say out of balance, meaning like there might be not enough you time, time for you, or there might be, not enough respect, or even just allocation of work, or things just aren't feeling balanced in your life, this is absolutely going to happen. Otherwise, it could be a situation, if it's not work, it could be a situation in the home situation where others that are feeling, you know, some pull towards struggles, like family members that are going through struggles. Like I said, this is going to be, that would be very close to the Virgos. That also will be coming into balance too. So what I'm trying to explain here is that this could be your own situation, or it could be someone very, very close to you where you're seeing things coming in back into a better balance. So here we have Virgos. Yes, they will move on into new situations. You're at the end of a cycle, but it's about allowing new situations to come in and moving forward. So I think that Virgos are feeling there's sort of some upsetting or exciting news coming in here, but that could also make them feel a little bit unsettled and unsure about their security. But, you know, what it could come down to is a bit of an argument or a bit of a situation that just moves them on. It's almost like you're needing, if you're not going to be moved on, Virgos, when you need to be, because this is, I'm sorry, but this is all very fated. You know, every single card here, bar 2, major arcana. So that is very, very uncommon. So this is changes are fated to come in. The universe is looking after situations for you, but if you're a little bit resistant to this, you might find yourself in a bit of a conflicting situation where, like I said, we could be arguing about the situation or any situation. It's going to go no. It's like that's what it's going to take to move you forward and to move you into your own personal power. Now, you've got the Hermit at the top, and then, like I said, this is, like I see this as a Virgo card, and sometimes I use it for accounting, which is a very common practice of Virgo, quite a common career for Virgo. But it's, you know, it's a card where you get to go inward. It's a card where you have so much knowledge inside of you, and you just feeling complete. You're feeling whole. You're feeling, you know, even if you're on your own, you're feeling fully complete. You don't need anybody else here. And with that situation, this is really talking about the knowledge, because it's surrounding, you know, a lot of energy around work and around the Emperor, which is the leader, the man in charge, the man that runs the whole show and can see how everything should run. So for Virgos, they either need to be doing their own thing or in a managerial role that gives them the opportunity to utilise their ideas and to, you know, do all that detailing that they're so good at. So again, Spirit's saying, here's another example of the major cards, Spirit here, you know, is saying just trust, things are coming back into balance, and your work situations or your home situations, and I'd say it's more around children, you know, they're going to just, it's all being looked after, and everything is going to work out for the better. So whatever dilemma comes up, and that's your moon card coming up here, and you just think, oh, not this, I don't know quite where this is going. You know, Virgos are being encouraged to utilise their intuition, trust in the senses, and to put learn to put the mind aside and to trust what they are fully feeling, because the mind can be quite dominant in the sign of Virgo. So it looks like, you know, to have the World card covering you and the Hermit at the top, it's saying that you have all the skills. You are in the end of a cycle. This is time to reap the rewards of where you've been, of where you've put all your effort into. So it's, you know, and that can come in a new situation, or it can come in staying where you are. But if you're not really getting the respect, the recognition in the sense of, you know, all your hard effort, and also being listened to or being able to implement your ideas, you know, I don't think you're going to hang around in the future if you're not getting that empowerment. Libra. So Libra, the Sun position is in your 10th. So for Libra, this is going to be all about your future direction, where you're going in. That's where your focus is going to be. Your bigger picture, where you see yourself in a few years' time. You have Mercury sitting in the, sorry, keep getting offline. Mercury sitting on the 9th house here, and so, you know, you're going to be thinking about the things you're wanting to do for yourself. We're also going to be sort of thinking a lot on belief systems, philosophy or new areas of learning. It's called, and it's a placement of higher, what we call higher learning, but it's more about the bigger picture or the worldly information. So it could even be someone who's interested in culture or interested in learning about history or anything to do with the bigger, the outer world, if you like. So the 8th house is where Uranus node and Venus sit. So any dramas or upset, I think Libras might be quite quick to be able to sort that out in the 8th house there. And the moon Jupiter, for all this productivity, and the Mars is sitting here in your 7th, so that's all coming through your partnerships. So in other words, through your partners, or through, if you have a business partner, there's going to be a lot of expansion and growth relative to business. Otherwise it could be to do with relationships and marriage partner, bringing in a lot more productivity, or setting up business. You may go into a new partnership situation with that as well, for either work or love. So Libra. So it looks like there's a lot of ideas going on here in the Libran mind, which I think is quite normal. Libras are ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love and money, so they're good with investments and making money work for them, but it's also esoterically ruled by Uranus. So, sometimes Libras can be more unique and odd and different, or strange, if you like, than Aquarians because of this esoteric rulership. But they do enjoy that. They do like to sort of, they don't care about what anyone else thinks, really, like the Aquarian. So, except for the Venusian, the Venus side of them, of course, they do want to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved at the end of the day. So, Libra, you've got the Tower sitting in the recent past, so I think things have been quite an upheaval. Let me just have another look at what that's about. Pluto in the 4th, yeah, I didn't actually mention that because it's been sitting there for quite a while. But I feel like, you've been in Saturn in the 5th. So, you're sort of coming to the end of the road of a sort of a hard struggle where you've just felt there's been a lot of change, you felt like you've had no control. There's sudden news or sudden situation here, and I think this is around finances. It could have you a little bit concerned. There could be any situations that have been stressful and hard, traumatic. It feels like this is a time to be healing. This is a time to be clearing that. You also have the Chiron sitting there in your 7th house as well. So, it's probably been a bit challenging for relationships, but with the moon Jupiter, I feel like this is where things are starting to come into a bit of balance for Libra. So, what Libra has going on around them, if I was I'll firstly want to recommend for Libra, take some magnesium, because you've got the stress card here, and then you've got this restless card sitting on top of you, which is really good for ideas and stimulation, but it can mean that things have been overstimulated or your nerves are feeling a little bit shot to do with stress or drama. So if there's anything that comes up that's a little bit upsetting or too much excitement, magnesium is a great mineral for that, and we could all do with it, I think, over this period of Uranus energy for the next 3 months. So what I feel is that this is strongly connected into your social connections, Libra, and it's quite an active time where you're very good at seeing what people are. You're quite good at observing people and understanding. Quite interested in humanity in some level, and personalities, and good at sussing out people. And I feel like where was I going with that? I feel like that's it's a time where you're sort of going to be connecting in and sort of utilising others. What I'm trying to say with that is that I feel like Libra has an ability to see where people should be or should fit. So I sort of like a real estate agent might be good at picking up the right place for the right person. I can see you in this house, or someone who finds work for another person, so I can't think of what it's called at the moment, you know, they could see what work would fit. So I feel like you're really good with people and sussing them out and picking up what's, you know, where their nature works. But I feel in this situation you're almost being used like a kingpin to bring people together, the right people, for the right projects or for the right things. So this is all about bringing the right team of people together. And it's just saying that this is a particular ability that you have, and that this ability will be utilised during this time. So it could just be a situation where someone's talking to you, it could be a friendship, and they're talking about something, you go, oh, I see you in this position, or, you know, so I feel like this is going to be quite strong, this energy for you during this time. It's very insightful and it's very intuitive energy, but it's sort of more geared around as you tune into the personality or the nature of a person. So I think your main concern here seems to be about security. Even though security can look really solid, there will be opportunities to step into more security for some if they feel that they don't have the security they're wanting. And again, this is all coming through a lift up or through connections to others. Now it feels like it's coming more outside these situations. So we have seen situations in family. This feels like this is coming from situations with friends, colleagues, you know, people in their social environments. So where there is a little bit of a restriction around money, and again, I feel like they were talking about investments, because we've got a large sum of money here and it feels like it's being held up or we can't access it. And I think for Libra, this is just sort of saying that, you know, maybe they're feeling a bit scared they've got money aside here and they're wanting to purchase something, or they're wanting to utilise an idea, but, you know, they're feeling a bit scared to either be spending, to be investing at this particular time. But that's like showing as the next thing to happen. So I feel like this could be over the next couple of weeks. Then you move in, because you've got to remember this is for 3 months. So then I feel as you're moving into sort of more into the end of July, August time, there seems to be excellent news for new projects and new ideas. And I can see some legal paperwork here that you'll be going through, but it feels like this is all to do with security and property or investment. Again, I don't feel it's like to do with particular business or work. I mean, it can be, but it could be relative to assets sold. This is Libras, like I said, they have a strong ability to connect in and to pick out deeper qualities within a person. This is a strong psychic gift that they have, and they will be utilising this a lot more. This is going to be very strong during this next 3 months. So something's activating that ability more so in them. And I think you can use that during this time, because I think you'll be getting on board with others in particular projects. Even though I feel like mostly what you're doing is on your own, there will be the right people in the right places for you that will assist you, or you can assist them to be stepping up to where you both want to be. So it is ultimately productive, even though I've just felt that Libra are going to feel it's more like an uncertainty. There's nothing, you know, apart from whatever this drama is with the Tower, but I don't know if that's already happened or not, where things just feel really unsettled. But then there's very, very good news. So I don't feel concerned about it at all. I feel like you'll see that there's actually a lot more opportunities for productivity than there was before this happened. So any situations that have been ongoing that are needing to come to a head, you know, they could come to a head during this time. But when I say during this time, I really want to just cover over the next week or two for that, because it was sitting in the recent past, and it's quite often that is actually what is like about to happen, and it continues on from there. So Scorpio. Scorpio, the sun is sitting in the 9th sector, and like I said, the 9th sector is about you know, where we want to grow, we want to expand mental or spiritual growth, but it's also about travel, it's overseas, it's about interests with the bigger picture or the bigger world out there. And with the sun there, you know, you could your focus could be on organising some travel, having a holiday over the next 3 months, but also about extending learning. But the learning again would be on more either philosophical or geographical or sometimes political even nature, but more so cultural, I feel, than political. So that's where Scorpio is going to be drawn towards. Mercury is sitting in the 8th, and this is all about releasing our patterns, where we can take more control over our financial situations. And, Scorpio sometimes means we need to go back to the past to clear and prepare for the future. So it's where we address our, recognize certain cycles or patterns, and where we need to be releasing certain situations. So forgiveness is a bit of a key there with Mercury there. So even situations of past may be irking Scorpio during this time, but I feel like take this opportunity to utilise it and see the new cycle coming in. Take the opportunity to clear what you no longer need to feel or connect to, and even when you have no control over the situation, just release that. And you may find if you release it that the control comes back into your border anyway. So for Scorpio, you've got Uranus node and Venus in the 7th house. So this is a time for relationships to come in, and relationships could come in really, really unexpectedly, really quickly. The other focus, you've got Moon, Jupiter, Mars and Chiron all in the 6th house. So this is a time where, you might be wanting to address your physical body if you're feeling that it's needing healing, but also it's a time when you can be really expanding on your work, creating a new business, and reaching out to others, I feel, on a much larger scale within your work situation. But definitely it's a good time to be, for those that are self-employed or, or wanting to set up something new. This is going to be really productive time for you. So, Scorpio. So in unexpected situations around connections in your relationship sector. Let's see what the cards say. Yes, good news about moving forward on all levels, actually, not just financially for security, but I think also to do with relationship. So any situations where relationships have been a bit of a struggle, this is going to be a time when you can really understand each other at a deeper level. And, it may mean that certain situations or dramas are brought to the fore. I'm not seeing those dramas, though. Interesting, because I'm still thinking about astrology here. But, it's showing more like you've got big changes coming up here, Scorpio. So big changes for new situations and especially for relationships. It's also a time where you might feel more creatively inspired, or you might want to play a bit more with your talents and skills. There is going to be also, there is an offer sort of sitting around you, and you're just going to have to work out, is this what I want to do? I want to carry on with what I'm doing here, or is this something better for me? But I feel that the offer does actually have a lot to do with where you are talented, but maybe you're not recognising that at that point. So again, Scorpio, just take your time with that decision, because it looks like it's going to be a very good one for you to grow and expand. Now, Scorpios can have an issue with trust, and I think we all, this is common knowledge. And it's interesting here because these cards here sort of really indicate that we've got the devil here and the communication and female connection here. Now, it's mainly because, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it. This is a practical woman here. This is a practical man or woman sitting there sort of saying, I don't know if I quite trust what you're saying, or maybe you've got to, I've got to get to know you better, and you've got to show me that that's what you're really, really about. So where we've got this, it's not a big issue with trust because it's not the major card. The major card is actually saying, listen, just listening, just connecting in. You're so psychic, Scorpio. You just got to trust what you feel. And put doubts aside until you really get those messages, because if you're listening, you will hear it clearly, what someone is about and whether you can trust them or not. all the signs are there. So you're very good at that. You're very discerning and you're very good at that. So you should actually have a lot more faith in yourself in that level. But, it's saying that there's connections, because there's some Scorpios here that I feel like are wanting to either create more independence for themselves, maybe they're wanting to break away from certain situations that haven't been working out for them, and then there's some Scorpios here that are wanting to move forward from being on their own to share their life. And it's like, either way, this is going to be the theme. And 7th house, the house of partnerships, is the theme for this month with this Uranus energy going on. And I just think these changes can come in quite quickly, but it is going to be what you're in alignment with. And I think, don't be scared of your emotions. Don't be scared to connect unto others, because this is a wonderful time for sharing coming up, and it's a wonderful time to really reap the rewards here for, for what you have to give and to start to receive what you put out. Again, we've got confirmation here with the right connections that will move you on. So this could be a situation where you're plodding along, you might be a bit frustrated with your work, and you could be somewhere where you connect with someone, and then you, bang, next thing you know, you're in a whole new position of work. Or it could be a situation where you're, just doing your own thing, and this connection comes in, and it's for love. So it's sort of saying that whatever this connection is, it's going to be empowering, it's going to move you on to new situations, it's going to mean that you have more control in your life, and you could well be partnering up with others for business or for love during this time. So any partnerships here are going to be looking really productive. If there's changes going on around partnerships, that's meant to happen at this time too. But if you're needing a partner, as in say it was a business partnership and you're needing someone else to come in, or someone's dropping out and you're needing to replace them, the right person's just coming in, and it's coming in so quickly. So things are happening quite fast there for Scorpio, and I think you're actually going to feel quite ready for it as well, because I think Scorpios had quite a bit of time to reflect, to go inwards, and to really think about what their needs are, what they really want for this new cycle that's coming in. And Scorpio are coming into quite a big cycle change. So as we're moving to August, September, there's some really big changes going on here. These changes are coming in before then, but I feel there's something around the Scorpio time, as in when the sun comes into Scorpio, so October, November. I feel like this is when the changes could be really moving in a much bigger way. This is just preparing you for this. The other thing here that I didn't mention was that Scorpios, it's like you're sort of trying to divide yourself between people, and I feel like it's just sort of saying that you're going to be socially active, or you're going to be feeling more like being out and about and being social than spending time to yourself or at home. Or it's like you might be avoiding a situation a little bit here for a bit, and maybe this is if there's a little bit of tension or difficulty within relationships. And I feel like just connecting in, get out there, connect up with others, because this is where the magic's going to happen. Sagittarius. So Sag, what's going on for Sagittarius? We've got the sun in the 8th position. So Sagittarius, this is about what you're ready to let go of, what cycle you're coming to an end of, and where you are wanting to feel a bit more control again in your life, to do with your own personal expression, but also to do with your life. The sun is everything. The sun is your life. It's you. So Mercury sitting in the 7th house, so your thoughts, your mind is going to be on relationships and what's going on for others. So with Sagittarius, Sagittarians like to be interactive, of course, within their relationships, and they're very good at communicating the more like the bigger picture and where they see things. So seems to be a lot of conversations going on here with partners about future plans. The 6th house, you've got Uranus node and Venus, so Could be some unsettled situations going on there around work, or exciting new situations for work. Again, it's going to depend on what's going on for each individual. And with the Sagittarius has the Moon, Jupiter and Mars in the 5th house. So this is a house of creativity. So excellent time for Sagittarius to use your creative abilities, to use your ability in connecting into the bigger picture. And you will do that in a creative way, a creative, expressive way. When I say the bigger picture, it's about, you might be thinking about business ideas and all that, but it's coming through your creative mind. It's also a time when you're just going to really get with others and enjoy yourself and have a nice social time. You might be out helping people in your environment with that Moon Jupiter there on the 5th, entertaining and productive situations. Any Sagittarians or Sag Ascendants or even Sag Moons that are wanting to have children, this is a perfect time. You've got all these planets lined up in your procreative placement, the 5th house. So, pregnancy would be, quite high at this time. Conception would be quite high at this time. So, Sagittarius, otherwise it just, you could be anything. New creative baby, could be creating film, art. Okay, Sag. So yes, I've got this generosity coming up here. Excuse me, with Sag. So Sag are either going to be helping others or they're going to get a lift up and get help from others during this time. There could be a opportunity here for a new growth or for a new position, which would give you more authority and control. And I think for Saggies, they may be looking for new passions as well. They have really good ideas. Like I said, they're very good at seeing the bigger picture. And this is all about utilising the mind. But also, sometimes it's not what we know, it's who we know. And, this is about sort of having the right connections in the right places to make things happen. So for Sagittarius, there is, it's a bit of a time where there's a lot going on. And there seems to be a lot going on around family and connections here. And it's potential disagreements, actually, where some people have been a bit defensive or overprotecting themselves. So within this situation, it's sort of Spirit saying where there's been I don't know if it's quite conflict, but I'll just say disagreement within family or within friendships, and also over defensiveness, really, that Spirit's going to sort this situation out. And Spirit's sorting this out, not immediately, but it's just so that this can come to the fore, this can come up, because this is sort of what has been going on, but also what sort of comes up again and is replayed. And then Spirit gets the opportunity to just sort this out at this time, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it, so it's divinely sort of intervened through not allowing situations to continue on and on and on that haven't been getting anywhere, really, because it feels like going around in circles with this situation. So I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about there, but I'm sure some of you Saggies might have a better idea. It's also sort of this feeling of trying to keep everybody happy, and people over here aren't happy about this change. Of people, Sagittarians like to keep everybody happy, and to they like to sort of organise and see where everybody should be, and but that's sometimes not going to work out. It could sometimes feel like it's interfering, or sometimes it could be taken the wrong way. So I feel like there's just a bit of a balancing situation here with others around you, where I feel like they're just needing to express themselves, and you're needing to express yourself, and what's really required to move forward into new situations and to move forward within this situation. So in other words, people aren't talking to each other in work or home situations, or family in the outer family situation. This is a time where I think things can be resolved if you're wanting to resolve it, because otherwise you're going to be taking it through into a whole other cycle. You've got a new cycle coming in, and it's just saying this is the time to clear that first. So that's the 8th house stuff, I feel. Sagittarius, I feel at this time they're just wanting to move on from it. It's like, that was yesterday, let's move on to tomorrow. They're also, thinking about work or moving from work changes. If you're not getting your satisfaction from your work situation, that's just absolutely not going to work for Sag. Sag need to be really passionate about what they're doing, and everybody does need to be, but some need to be more so because they put a lot of energy into it, or otherwise they can't put, if they're not passionate, they actually can't put energy into it. And it doesn't feel right to be there when you can't put energy into your situation. So they can be quite quick to act, and they couldn't just get up and go, well, this isn't productive, I'm off. And it does look like that's what Saggies will do if their situations are too difficult or too unproductive. Any Saggies that are wanting to sort of build on their business, it's a great time for that. Like I said, this is a good time to have your focus into your passion and to make the decisions on what you can do more for yourself. Saggies, this isn't really about, like I said, there's a lift up, there's a help here, but this isn't about what you're doing with others, like I've seen with some cards here, about sharing, and Gemini, it seems to be about sharing. With this, it's quite the opposite. It's more about what you can do on your own if you're just left alone and not interrupted. So there's a new focus coming up for Sag, and it looks like it's going to be a very active time. There are some situations here that we may feel disappointed, but I feel this is a time to heal those disappointments. And disappointments are really where we just have our expectations are really too high, really, with regards to others. So we can't expect people to be what we want them to be. And I feel like this is just clearing this, and it's a bit more acceptance coming in and a bit more adaptability, which is a very good Sagittarius word here, to being adaptable to other people's situations, circumstances, and opinions. So it looks good for Saggies searching for something new, something passionate, and also wanting to have something solid to make a decision on with regards to change. That is going to come in. It's not showing here immediately. I would give that at least 2 months, but I feel like there is some forward movement coming in the next month, in about a month's time for Sag, where you'll see that you actually can move in the direction you want to go in. Capricorn. So Capricorn, the sun is sitting in the 7th house, so this is going to be, whole focus is going to be on relationships here for you. So for Capricorn, it's going to be about what your partner's doing or where your partner's going, as in what direction you're going in. It could also be a time to bring in a partner if you're on your own, especially if you're a female with having the sun there, or if you're a gay male, of course. But having the sun there, it means there's a male partnership that's going to be the focus in your life during this time. So Mercury is sitting in the 6th house, so work is also going to be your focus, and Mercury's quite a nice placement for Mercury there. It means that we're quite happy to be getting on with our work and doing what we do. It's also is in our daily routines, and it means that also that you can implement more ideas and be more expressive in your work situation. You've got the Uranus node Venus sitting in the 5th house, and that's an extremely creative time for Capricorn. You couldn't get more creative than that. So, it's an excellent time, again, if you're wanting to procreate with Venus here, but also a time to be just really enjoying yourself, socializing with others. There could be a lot of fun and a lot of excitement, or some drama even around social events during this time. Moon, Jupiter and Mars are sitting in the 4th house, and that's a really nice placement too for Capricorn, because the Moon, Jupiter sits here quite happily. It means that you're going to be extremely productive around the home, or you're going to be extremely productive in setting up business that's quite secure, that you could even do from home. But it means that if you were wanting to do business or any form of enterprise, that it's coming from solid foundations, and it's coming from a really, really solid base. With Mars in that placement too, like I said, lots of work around the home. You might find you rearrange the whole house, you paint the house, you change the house, you renovate the house. You may even want to look at buying more properties or doing properties up during this time. So let's see what Capricorn has going on here. Oh, the star. Nice. When they pop out, there's definitely a reason for it. The star is all about vibrational energy. It's about connecting to nature. Reminds me of people who are gardeners, but also people that connect in with sound, music, crystals, musicians. It's vibrational energy, the star. And Capricorns generally love to be in the earth, love to be in the garden, and connecting to the earth. So very nice card there for Capricorn. So Capricorn, you've had Pluto in the first house, first sector for quite a long time. It's been very tiring for you guys. We're near the end of it. We're nearly at we've still got a year and a half to go. But when we get to that very end, it's actually going to be the much easier part. It's when the power starts to come back into your life. And this is saying for Capricorns that have really felt, especially for Capricorns that have felt stuck in a certain pattern. And when I say patterns, these are psychological patterns or addictive patterns or just patterns of behaviour that we know we're doing, but we're not fully recognising. It's quite unconscious, but there will be some conscious awareness. And the more we bring any patterns of behaviour, whether they're just how we react, how we respond or emotionally react to others, or if it's relative to things that we go for to support ourselves as in addictions. This is an unconscious thing. It sort of sits in our unconscious, and the more we bring it into our conscious, the more we become consciously aware of either our reactions or our addictions, the more we can actually break them, because it's really just about recognizing the pattern and then bringing into their conscious awareness, and then the consciousness will actually be really telling the unconscious behaviour off and saying, this is not what I want. So we can't lie to ourselves when we have the unconscious coming into the conscious mind anymore. So what this has come up here, and it's sort of saying that if there's been any of that repeated patterns or any of that unconscious behaviour, this is a time for healing for Capricorn. There's a huge healing time coming up, because it's been a lot for Capricorn about what they can't do, where they can't move forward. It's been some very frustrating circumstances, but spirits around this saying Capricorns are getting a special type of healing. They have been through a whole purging time with Pluto going through their sign to be transformed into to a deeper understanding of their power and their skills. And so where they've felt weakened by this energy, they're going to be empowered. And so, with the Capricorn is about patience, perseverance, stamina, determination. But the negative of that is giving up, separating, going, it's too hard. That word I can't is very saturnine. It's very much around, what holds us back. So the thing is with the Capricorn is that, they are so persevering, and they will break. If anyone can, they can. So even though sometimes you get they want to take the path of least resistance, it's sort of saying you're not going to be allowed to anymore. This is actually about you empowering yourself now and seeing where you can. So for Capricorn, you've been going through a whole process of healing. And like I said, this has been a healing time, divinely intervened. So in other words, spirit, your spirit guides, your higher self, your connection in the spirit world, that's all been where the healing has been coming from. So I'm not saying you've physically been going out and receiving healings, or maybe you have been, which would be a good thing as well. But this has been happening whether you're aware of it or not. So with this, I feel like Capricorns are going through this space so that they can help and heal others, because they do need a strong sense of purpose. They love, they need to be helping. They like to be, they will always be there for the underdog. They see a, literally an animal or a person, and help. They will be the ones to stop and help. They have a strong conscience in that way, and they do make for very awesome healers. So I feel like your experience is going to, not be wasted. Your growth and everything that you've come to from this whole time with Pluto going through this is going to be, you're going to be coming to that next phase within the healing, which is going to prepare you to be a healer yourself, meaning, not that you have to go out hands-on healing, but just where you are going to be able to help and to be of service, and not the type of service that Virgo give, but just to be able to reach out and help those in need. So I feel like some of you Capricorns may be wanting to learn some new things. You might be wanting to upskill. I feel like you're wanting to stimulate your brain in some way. Capricorns are very smart, and they do like to be stimulated, but this is talking about exploring new areas. And I feel like when I'm talking about learning new things, I don't feel like it's going to be subjects of interest, or even subjects where you have latent gifts. If there's a subject of interest and it's relevant to learning something that is like a skill, I feel like there's already a gift there, and that this is what is inside you, and you're really wanting to bring that out more so, because it's all about recognizing your gifts during this time as well. So for those Capricorns that are already sort of setting up their own situations for themselves, as in business, and creating some more freedom in their life here, it feels like it's going to be a very strong time to move forward, a very productive time. There might be a few issues around business situations for Capricorn that are well established, but again, I feel like they're good problem solving, and they will just, if something's not working out, they'll just turn their back on it, and they'll just go for what is going to work out. So it could be a bit of a reshuffling around with situations here, and there are decisions to be made here for Capricorn with opportunities and new situations, but it looks like it's going to be, again, where you feel more utilised, more useful. So a good time for creative type Capricorns to get on with their creativity, and also really, really social time for Capricorn. I feel like Capricorns also, they don't suffer fools, Capricorns, and if they cut you off, they can cut you off for good. But what I'm getting here is almost like Capricorn wanting to fix family situations that have been a struggle, or with people aren't agreeing. So I feel like there's a confidence level here happening with Capricorn, where they're like, no, this has to work, where normally they'd be like, oh no, don't bother. They're like being determined here to make family situations work, which is, I think, really good too, because if Capricorn decides to do it, they're going to do it, and they're going to make sure it happens. So there is some really good news here for Capricorn, where you're going to see a new situation, a new opportunity. Sometimes for Capricorns it's hard. They're very practical signs, but it is hard to deal with the emotions. And for those that are sort of quite emotionally connected, I feel like there's a whole new situation of growth, learning about your gifts, your creative abilities, and also your intuitive abilities coming through here. And so sort of got the watery type Capricorns, so the ones that have a lot of water in their charts, they're going to really connect into the more spiritual side, and really explore things that they really didn't think that they had any ability in at all. And then the ones that are more based on the air types, and the fire types, I feel like they're going to just take action and step into new areas of gifts that they, again, didn't know that they actually had. So, Capricorns can be quite skeptical about these situations, but I feel like, no, they're really getting ready to expand and express themselves at a much stronger level than they have been doing. And it's really good to see the moon sitting here in the past for Capricorn, because I think it's been a bit of an obscured time where you may have felt quite like heavy and not being able to, like you're wading through water almost. And now there's like this lift up here where you're going to feel more like you're floating on air in your new circumstances. But there is still some healing going on here for some Capricorns, like I said, with the Pluto and Capricorn. So next we move to Aquarius and have a look at what's going on for Aquarius. So Aquarius has the Sun in the 6th house. So this is going to be, the focus is going to be on work, your daily routine, what you're doing every day. Mercury's sitting in the 5th, so it's going to be a great time for socialising and connecting with others. Venus, Uranus, and the node sitting in the 4th. So if there's going to be any dramas or upsets, it's going to be coming from the home situation, or it could be excitement about home situations, or it could even be coming from family situations coming from that 4th house. And you, the Moon, Jupiter, and Mars and Chiron sitting in the 3rd house for Aquarius. So, you know, you're going to have some really good ideas on how you can expand, grow, and be more productive for the future. And so again, business ideas could come to mind, or changes in work, or how you're wanting to apply work. So this is all going to be just processed through the mind. It may not be anything, you know, that you're doing in the first stages, but, you know, again, I feel like this could be relative to detailing, could be relative to writing, sketching, drawing, any way where you're expressing yourself through that medium of paper, so, or communication. So Aquarius, so this is a long one because, you know, we are covering the next 3 months, and when you go through each of the zodiac, it's quite a lot to talk about. Okay, so Aquarius, it's a great time socially here for you guys, and it's a time when you can really express yourself to the full, where you are maybe challenged a little bit relative to your belief in yourself and your confidence in yourself, saying that you've been in a process of learning, but very soon you're going to be called up because you have very special skills to offer, and you're still in this learning process, so you may feel a bit, you know, a bit uncertain or not quite confident about, you know, whether this situation or this position is right for you. But it's saying that you are going to utilize your brilliant mind with your, you know, with your ability for precision, for detail, and for really looking deeper into situations. So we have a new cycle coming up here for Aquarius in the very near future, and I feel like this is covering over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And it means that you have to make quite a big decision about a change, which would put you into a whole new cycle for your career, I feel. If it's not career, it could be about bigger plans around investments. But I feel like, you know, it's very relative to your security, but it's more so, I think, relative to your skill set and where your skill set is. And if you're working in an area where that's getting fully utilised, you know, that's all good as long as you're happy. But if it's not, I think that, you know, you're going to get opportunities to actually step up into what you're more capable of. And this is where I'm saying the confidence may be needed for that. Good time for Aquarius if they're looking at business, or even, you know, if it's a productive time. Pregnancy is quite a possibility if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, you'd utilise that energy in another productive way. Again, could be to do with business, or just to do with what you can do around the home situation. Aquarians, they can be worry warts at times. You know, it's a lot of sort of mental energy, but it's the higher mind. But it's about learning, you know, the challenge with that is learning to trust what that information is coming through, because, you know, Aquarians are very sharp and they can be very intuitive. They can get the messages really fast. Doesn't mean they get the messages on everything, but it means that when they do get the message, it's really clear and really fast. And I do feel that Aquarians are quite good at trusting that, but that doesn't mean that they're good at trusting in the universe or trusting in every situation. And feel for those that are feeling a little bit, that they've been in a bit of struggle, and this could be sometimes financial or it could be physical. They're just feeling a bit tired, really, of the routine. Of course, Aquarius, they like change, they like to keep, they like security, of course, but they also like, get a bit tired of routine. So it's like needing a rest or needing a break. It's not saying you're getting a holiday, sorry, Aquarians, but it's sort of saying just some time out. Just give yourself a break, even if it means like not doing all your responsibilities around the home situation, and just giving yourself a bit of a restful time, or just spending a day or two by the water or go fishing, because there will be times when you're feeling quite exhausted, because it is quite a hard working month for you. Also, Aquarians, they like to keep everybody happy at some level, and so that could be exhausting too, trying to juggle everything, all the demands. Spirit here is saying that there's a new plan, there's a new direction, and it's quite fated, and it's coming in for these Aquarians, the ones that are obviously listening, and maybe more. That is just divinely orchestrated. So I'm not going to get much more information about that, but just know that there's a new situation, there is a new plan, and it's coming from the universe. So I feel like, again, Aquarians are very organised, especially if they've got the right combinations going on, with some Leo going on there. But they're very organised and routine, and they're needing something new to either plan or organise or look forward to. But there seems to be a whole new plan coming up here, and Spirit's saying this wouldn't have come in if it wasn't meant to happen. So just trust in these changes, just trust in what's going on right now, and financially everything is going to work out, because it feels like there could be some concerns about money, where money's coming from, or where money's being held back. Now that's only a temporary situation, and it looks like the situation that comes up, it disappears as fast as it comes in. So in other words, what can look bad in one day can actually be a blessing in the next day. So, I feel like we're talking momentarily, whether it's a day or a week. I don't feel like we're talking any longer than that. So, if there's an opportunity to have a rest or to have a break, take it. For Aquarius, they also need to look after their health during this time, because they could be overworking themselves. Even though they've got showing generally good health here, I feel like that they can get drained quite easily, and also they're needing a lot of sunshine. So depending on where you are, of course, in the world, whether you've got access to that, don't hide yourselves away, Aquarius. You need to get out in the sun and look after your health. So being open, Aquarius, to the opportunities, to the things that are being presented, like Spirit saying, this new direction, this new plan, it's divinely timed, and it's coming because it's meant to be there. And do not worry about all the details with it. Just allow the situation to unfold and the changes to happen, because it's going to put you in a much better situation. It's going to mean that you can move away from situations that have been quite hard or difficult, anything that has sort of been karmically going on, whether that's to do with difficulties in family situations or relationships or children, that's going to be resolved again. That's where I feel Spirit's coming in saying, we've got this sorted, we've got this covered for you, there's a new direction, or there's a new plan to sort this out. So it's not just about a big releasing past issues, it's also about finding solutions to problems. And Aquarius is very good at finding solutions to problems, and this is where you will be utilised during the next 3 months. So as we come to the last sign, Pisces. So Pisces, the sun is sitting in your 5th house, so this is a great creative space for you to be in. Your time over the next 3 months may be consumed with family, children. If you're wanting, again, if you're Pisces that's wanting to have a family, this is an excellent time to plant the seed, so to speak. But it's also a time to, where you might feel like socialising, It's the house of social entertainment and productivity as well as procreation. So with the sun there, like I said, this is where your energy is going to be placed, and it's a great time to really express who you truly are. With Mercury, it's sitting in the 4th house, so the focus is going to be on the home and security, but it could be around, what you wanted to do around the home or what you can create around the home. Maybe, a bit of renovation or tidying up the home, but this is where the mind is sitting there. It's also saying that any ideas that come during this time are going to come from a solid base and foundation. So sitting in your place of siblings and friendships, like I said, soul connections, soul friendships, and also a place where we communicate and express ourselves. You've got Uranus, Node, and Venus. So, with all the drama or the upset or the excitement because of sudden changes, and also the good news with Venus, expansion on our creative mind. This would be a great time to be writing for Pisces, or a great time to be expressing yourself in a unique way. It's also, like I said, how we communicate, and, try not to react with that Uranus node sitting there in the place of communication, because it's like you could be upset, and there could be a drama going on, and it feels like that's sort of sitting in that place where you might have to put your 5 cents in. That may not be appreciated, so, just remember that. But, with Uranus node there, I sort of feel like, any dramas, they're going to be sort of more how you organise your situation, again, around family, around your children, with family, your brothers and sisters, and around your communications. So it's really about how we communicate this clearly to others. And with Venus there, you can do it in a very loving way, and of course Pisces have a very loving nature. So the 2nd house, you have the Moon, Jupiter, and the Mars, and this is all about your finances and your security. And even though you've had Chiron there, which may make you feel like security is not necessarily an issue, but, just like may not feel like it could be a little bit of a burden in some way. The Moon, Jupiter is saying that this is the time for expansion and growth with your security. It'd be a great time to be looking at, buying another property around this next 3 months. And with Mars there as well, it means, you could be adding to your assets, or you could be working really hard to add to your assets, and that could be more for the bigger picture. So let's have a look at what's going on for Pisces. There's also Neptune's been sitting in your 1st house. Now that's been for a long time, as long as Neptune's been sitting in Pisces. It's quite a while now. But that again is like, sometimes we may feel as Pisces, that we're not understood fully, but it does allow you to really utilise your Neptunian energy and express it, and use your psychic ability quite strong as well, and project it out into the outer environment. So, Pisces. So Pisces, this looks great. You've got the star. It's my favourite card of the pack, actually, covering you, which is to me, a very Piscean card anyway, because like I said, the star here, it's all about vibrational energy. It's all about upliftment. It's all about feeling and sensing, and it's a psychic ability as well. So music, nature, and vibrational energy, psychic ability, crystals, anything that shifts our vibration. So for Pisces to have that, that's your essence. You've got Neptune in the 1st house, so you naturally do connect into this subtle energy of Neptune. And saying here that Pisces, and probably with this Neptune the 1st as well, and this could be for a period of time that you have been discovering a lot more of your skills and abilities, and that you're in a learning process. So I feel like you're going to be interested in learning the subjects that I've just covered relative to the star card. So it could be music, could be art, could be psychic connection, could be gardening, could be landscaping, could be organic gardening, could be connecting with animals, because again, that's vibrational, because we can communicate with animals, but we're feeling it through vibrational energy, not through what we can hear. So Pisces seem to be able to reach for a bigger picture here with regards to making plans for their future. So in other words, whatever you're learning now, whatever talent you're recognizing, I feel like you're going to be putting this into your picture for your future. This is for your future. It's not just a hobby and you're going to go, oh yeah, I'll see how I go with this. It's more like, you know, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm good at, and I just need to put it into practice. So you know, it will be part of your bigger picture and part of your future. So in other words, you know, connecting in, being more intuitively connected, or learning about the garden. I mean, the whole thing is we do connect in intuitively to any of these aspects, whether it's music, whether it's nature. You know, we are connecting in at that level, and so, you know, as we're practicing that, that's something that we get to keep. That's not something that we have to keep going with. Once we learn that, it's an instant thing. It's like a muscle. And of course, we have to keep trusting it and using it to keep that muscle strong. But, you know, what I'm saying with this is that it's something that you already have, but you're just learning how to utilize it through the medium. So it's a little bit like we have music within us, but here's an instrument and now I have to learn how to play. So everything that you have and the skills that you're doing, it's already within you. So there's some very good news here for Pisces to do with connections, like connecting up with someone that I feel is going to be really beneficial for your future. And there seems to be a plan around this. So for anyone who's been on their own, this is a good time for relationships to come in. That could be really valuable. Or it could just be that your work or your career, you know, whatever you do, you're doing on your own, and you may be joining with another person. And because there does seem to be with this joining with this other person, then there seems to be a plan put into place for either a particular project or direction that is going to be extremely rewarding for you. So spirits, yeah, it's interesting because you've got the Hierophant and the High Priestess next to each other. And again, that's not a very common thing. And this is your higher intuition, which, you know, Pisces have that quite strong anyway. And then the Hierophant is actually the, you know, he's like your spiritual master, if you like, your guru. Or, but I see him as spirit, and I just feel like these are your spiritual teachers. These are your, you know, to have them together. It's just you know, Pisces have such a strong spiritual connection and ability. It's just so powerful, and to get that together is quite phenomenal. But what you have in the middle is this lovely Saturn card where it's like, I can't, you know, there's that I can't. So Pisces saying, I can't use my intuition. Oh, I can't do it. I don't get it. Of course you can. I mean, this is natural for you. So any of those Pisces that don't see themselves as psychic or the ability to tune in, and when I'm saying psychic, you don't have to be doing what I'm doing. I'm talking about connecting in. You could be helping an animal, you could be helping a child because they can't communicate. You know, these are very, very important skills that we have innate within us. All of us do, all star signs do. But with Pisces, they just got that extra Neptune, so they can just flow with it a bit easier. It sort of flows to them. So this is saying that the flow hasn't been happening, or that, you know, it's time to actually start to trust and believe in it, or start to utilize these skills, because it's going to come through more powerful. So Spirit is saying they're wanting you to connect in. If you've got people that you've lost in Spirit, because this is the Spirit card, you know, they're wanting to talk to you. They're wanting to communicate with you. So when you feel them around you and you sense they said something, don't discard it, because that's like discarding that soul. That soul is still alive, still exists. You know, it's just not on this dimension, but they still exist. And if they're trying to talk to you, they're wanting some recognition. So all you have to do is say, hello, do you have a message? And if they give you a message and you heard something, don't question it. Just say thank you for that. You know, acknowledgement, acknowledging that you received the message. That is the first step to empowering it. Of course, there's lots of other ways to empower your psychic ability, as in learning tarot or astrology or all the other tools, or just meditating, or just connecting into the garden and asking a question and then letting it go and just waiting to see if something comes to mind. So I just feel for Pisces that haven't been utilising some of these gifts, they're going to get the opportunity to utilise that. And like I said, you know, it might come through music, it might come through gardening, it might come through animals, but either way, it's going to come. And the fact that if you haven't been using it, is going to be addressed, and you are going to get the opportunity to utilise it, because it's going to be even louder than it has been in the past. So for Pisces, we have good news around money coming in. If you're wanting to borrow money or get a bank loan, or something that's going to give you a lot more freedom financially, there seems to be the gift of money coming, which means that it's going to make a change for you and give you more personal freedom. Now, I don't know what that means, but, maybe we've got a lot of Pisceans here, waiting on situations to change, or money being held up. But it feels like, there's what you're looking for is freedom and peaceful situations, and where you have scope to plan your future. And it's like those limitations that have been around you in the past are going to start to dissolve. There's also people here sitting in your environment that are encouraging you to make some decisions with regard to certain situations. And you have to make some decisions about placing yourself in this environment, and whether you're wanting to be working with these people or be part of what they're doing. So that's something else here that I feel it may not even be working. It might be a situation where you might have people encouraging you to move to another place. So, we could be talking family, we could be talking friends, we could be talking work situations, but other people that you have connections to, and I would say this is in quite a fated way, because we are in quite a fated time right now, are going to be bringing decisions to the fore for you to decide on, and these sort of big decisions again, and it's sort of about sharing your environments with them, like I said, either living, working, or or moving, and that would not necessarily mean living, but they may be saying, look, move to this area. So the outcome here for Pisces looks like, with the work situation, it's going to be quite a strong time where their vision and their skills are going to be really utilised. It's going to be a time where you can really step up. It's a time when things and energies come back into a better balance, and something's shifting here for Pisces, where they're going to start to really see, have a really stronger vision for their future. So it's almost like Pisces, it's not saying you're being clouded, but I feel like it's not often we can actually see 2 or 3 years ahead of time. We all have an ideal of where we want to be, but when we can actually see it clearly, and I feel like this foresight that's happening here is all relative to the Pisces intuition and the Pisces ability to tune in and see what's going to work and what isn't. So there seems to be a lot of speculation around finances, and there is also, again, legal documents here to sign. So I feel like, again, Pisces could be buying property, anything for the future which feels like it's going to be secure. But I feel like this is more about investment than moving, even though there is a situation here for some Pisces where I think you may be brought into new living circumstances, or moving to a new environment through others. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and you'll see me next time. Bye.